Hello, everyone. Matthew Schwab here with Matthew Schwab Speaks with another episode of Matthew Schwab Listens. Today, I'm talking to a Stephanie Sarazin. She's an accomplished author, and she has done something awesome with Mount Everest, which we get to learn more about. But I think one of the biggest things she has done is single-handedly, with help, curate an entire TEDx event. And that's how we first met TEDx KRIM in 2019. And so welcome, Stetphanie Sarazin.
Thank you, Matthew. It's so nice to see you and so nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome, Stephanie. So it was fun doing. I like to know what you more about what you do and why you like. So basically, I just wanted to know you more. I know you have three kids, and I know I worked with your son Ben during the ancient times back at Chick-fil-A. Anything else you'd like to share about your family?
Sure. Oh, thanks for asking. Yep, I'm a mom to three, and they're um, they're all very different and unique in their own way. And when they get together, it's just, it warms my heart to see them interact as siblings. And as they've gotten older and they're starting to move away from home and um, consider jobs for themselves. It's really nice to kind of to watch them explore what it is that interests them, and to be supportive as they go into the world and find ways to contribute meaningfully and be happy. So it's a real delight as a mom.
My mom could tell the same.
I was thinking, and you're one of three as well, aren't you?
Yes, one of three.
Yes.
Yes, and I know you had a brother with a disability who recently sadly died. I'm really sorry for your loss. How did being his sibling impact you?
Oh gosh, Matthew, thanks so much for asking. My brother Eric was 2 years younger than me. I'm the oldest in my family and of the siblings, and you know, I can't remember my life without him. And he's really just been the biggest teacher of my life. And I'm so grateful to have been his sister. He was born with uh, with differences. We're not really sure why, if he had a brain injury at birth or what might have happened, but he never spoke and he wasn't able to walk. Um, oh, but he was so loved and he loved music and was just a gentle soul. So, to grow up um, and live with him and be his sister, I learned so much, really just about being a human being and how we all might look different and have different abilities, but we're really all the very same. We're the same on the inside. We all want to be loved and to give love, um, and we enjoy so much of the same thing. So he really helped me understand that at a really young age, and really helped me see that even though somebody may look like they don't have any abilities, right? We all we all have different abilities, and that's one reason, I think I have a more unique view of the world than a lot of people who aren't as lucky as I am to grow up with somebody with a brother like Eric.
Yes, and that speaks true because that was the underlying thing that we wanted to put in the TEDx event because like look at it as a prism. We can look at a different angle and different perspective.
Yes. Oh gosh, Matthew, thank you for remembering that. I have one of the prisms over my shoulder just to help me remember that there's
All right.
many ways to look at things. And sometimes if we just move our perspective a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left or a little bit up or down, we can see it in a whole new way. And a great way to do that, I think, is, I think you're a prism. I think this podcast is a prism, to really help people listen and hear things just a notch differently, right? And I think, what if the whole world did that? Maybe we could better understand and be more compassionate to each other.
Definitely. So you're Stetphanie, you're really a Renaissance person, aren't you?
Thanks. I mean, I'll take that compliment. I think, I think, I have a lot of different interests, and I like to see, I like to learn and learn from other people and try new things, if that's what you mean by being a Renaissance person, just doing different things.
Yes. Thank. Oh, so please tell us what inspired you to write a book.
Well, there wasn't the book I wanted. I couldn't find the book that I wanted on the shelves. And, you know, um, that was kind of discouraging for me. I was in a place where I was trying to learn more about grief and my own emotions and my own feelings from my own experience of divorce, but I couldn't find anything at the bookstore. Even if you go into a bookstore, there's thousands of books everywhere.
Yeah.
And yet I could find one book that was kind of close and then another book that was similar, but not quite,
Mm,
and I wanted a specific book specific to me, and it didn't come in just one book. And so I just started asking questions, and I think that asking questions is one of the best things we can do, because if we can ask questions and learn and be open to the answers, then we can grow. So I started to ask questions and find out, how does somebody write a book? And people led me to find those answers, and so I started to try it, and it worked. I did it.
that's amazing. How many books have you written so far?
Just written one, and I don't know if I will write any more. It took about a year to write that book, and that was a book that was ultimately 308 pages.
Wow.
But it is, just as writing something like a talk and then practicing it to memorize it to be completely off book takes a lot of time. Your TED talk was less than 15 minutes, and yet it took you way more than 15 minutes to get it so good, right? And
Yes.
so the book is a lot in the same way. It's only 308 pages, but it took over a year to write. And so I don't know if I would write another one, but I love writing. I learned that about myself along the way. I really enjoy it, and I'd like to do more of it. So I'm writing articles for different journals and publications right now.
That's awesome. Keep at it.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. I loved my experience with TEDx. What made you want to coordinate a TEDx?
I had attended one. I had attended the TED event that happens every year, and it just was so, I learned so much about so many different things. And this TED event lasted for 3 days. And so it was that many speakers each day. We had 10 speakers each day. It was a lot. And I loved it. And I thought, I want to go back. So I went the next year and thought I would love to bring this to my community. And so I asked some questions, right? How do you do it? How does TED allow people to have a license? And I learned that there was an application process, and I filled out the application, and talked about how I would support the theme for that year. Do you remember the theme was bold and brilliant?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. And so I talked about ways that our community was bold and brilliant, and how I was confident that I could find bold and brilliant ideas worth sharing that needed the TED stage and needed to be heard. And so I was awarded the license and became the curator and producer of the event.
That's awesome. What was the experience like coordinating the event?
It was great. Overall, it was great. And in large part, that was due to the terrific small team of volunteers I had helping. And because we had so many applications come in, and I couldn't by myself read through every application and call and do the interviews. So I had a great team help me with that process and with the selection process and all of the little details down to the lanyards that we wore and the t-shirts and the
Oh yeah.
goodie bags. There are just so many things. But having gone to the event, I knew what a TED event felt like. And I knew, kind of what small details might make the audience really happy they were there, feel like it was a good investment of their time. And, it was just a terrific event all around. It was a lot of work, as you know, but having the right volunteers and the right speakers who were committed to doing their very best made it pretty easy.
Yes, that's definitely easy. So, will you ever do another TEDx event?
Maybe, yeah, maybe I would. We did our event, as you know, in December of 2019,
Yes.
and then COVID happened just a few
Yeah.
months later. And so we really got in the nick of time to
Yeah.
have our event done. And then, the speakers' talks reviewed by Big TED and put up on the website. But so for 2020 and 2021, the events weren't happening traditionally, as you know. And so I hadn't thought, and then I started writing my book. So in 2022, when the event started to resume, I was writing the book. So I didn't, I knew I didn't have time to dedicate to curating it again. But now I'm done writing the book, and might be something I would reconsider.
All right. If you do it, I look forward to watching it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think you could probably, being a veteran, do more than just watch it. I think you'd be a perfect person to give a pep talk to the new slate of speakers.
Wow.
Whether I'm the curator or if there are any other TEDx events happening throughout our local area, that might be a nice opportunity for you, actually,
All
as somebody who's already done it. Yeah, we can talk later about that if you'd like. I can give you some make some introductions if you'd like.
right. I would love that. Thank you for that opportunity, Stephanie. I know you worked with Make-A-Wish. Tell us a bit
Mhm.
about that.
Oh, I loved my years at Make-A-Wish. I worked for the Make-A-Wish Foundation for, I don't know, 10 years, I think. And it was just a terrific opportunity. The mission of the Make-A-Wish Foundation is to grant the wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions and to enrich the human experience with hope, strength, and joy. And able to be part of the team that makes that happen for children and their families was just a really good use of time. I felt excited to go to work every day, and every night I felt that my work mattered and I did something good for somebody else. So it's a great organization, and I always loved seeing what wishes the kids were coming up with.
Uh, yes, that's awesome. So since Is there anything else you'd like to share before we like to move on to just for fun questions?
Oh boy, I'm ready for your fun questions. You asked some great questions so far.
Thanks.
Um, so I'll get ready. You've got a smile on your face that tells me that these are your these are
Yes.
good. All right, I'm ready, Matthew.
Since you are an author, I assume you like to read. What book had the most significant on you?
Oh wow. Well, when I was younger, right away I can tell you, I loved a series called Choose Your Own Adventure. And these were before your time, but I bet you could still find them once in a while. And your parents probably know about it. But it was a book where I would read it in elementary school. And it was a book where you could get to page 10, say, and it would say, if you want to go down the path, skip to page 82. If you don't want to go down the path and you want to return to your starting point, go to page 12. And then you would get to these points in the story and you would get to choose how you wanted the story to go. Did you want to go in the hot air balloon, or did you want to take the car? Did you want to go to the restaurant or go explore a cave, right? And some of the choices were always a little more maybe frightening or scary or intimidating. Um, but however you would do it, it would always lead to a different story. And I really liked the way those books were written because it really helped me kind of from an early age see that life is a choose your own adventure. We're choosing our own adventure every day.
Uh, I'm 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 quite familiar with that kind of thing.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I remember reading that kind of books when I was a lot younger.
Oh, good. Okay. I haven't seen them around lately, at the bookstore. So I'm glad they're still out there. That's
Yeah,
a great question, though. Great question.
that's saying something because my birthday is coming up and I'll be 26.
Oh, happy birthday. Oh, I
And
love that. That's really exciting. Um, and my birthday was 2 days ago, actually. So I think you and I are probably around the same, we're in the same birthday month, right? So, but
October.
oh wait, you're October?
Yeah, so it's almost.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you meant like next week. Okay.
Not
But
that much.
okay. But another book that really influenced me is a book by John Krakauer, and it's called Into Thin Air. And I read this book when I was 24, and it was about a team of people who were traveling to Nepal, to Mount Everest, to try to climb to the top of it. And I loved the book so much. I finished it and thought, one day I will go there.
Yes. And 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 that's one of the next questions. So I have a I have a very cool things in the works right now. But what is the best thing you've got in your life at the moment?
What is the best thing I have in my life at the moment? Is
Yeah,
that your question? That
correct.
is a heavy question, Matthew Schwab.
Yes.
Um, it is the love of friends and family and community. That's the best thing in my life at the moment. It would be a lonely world if I was just all by myself without the love and care of my community and friends and family. That's the best thing. And also, I really like peanut butter pretzels. Those might be a close second.
Yeah. What was your experience like in Mount Everest?
Well, I will be going next year for my 50th birthday, in celebration of my 50th birthday and a whole bunch of other milestones. And I'm climbing to base camp, which is about 18,000 feet above sea level. And I'm not trying to go to the summit.
Oh,
That is a
good.
lot of, that is a lot more than I'm wanting or willing to try. But going to base camp will be 11 days of hiking, um, 5 to 8 hours a day to
Wow.
get Yes, and then we'll come down much faster. We come down, I think, in 3 days, but it takes, because of the elevation and the air changes and our breathing has to change. We take our time getting up there. So I'm really excited. I'm going next October.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I hope you have fun.
I do too. I do too. I'm really excited to see it and meet the people of the area and try the food and um, just have the experience that I've been thinking about for over 2 decades.
Uh, yes. I've been to Mount Everest before.
You have?
Yes, I haven't done what you're going to do, but you see, my mom's sister, her family, they live right outside of Denver, Colorado, and the father, he is an expert in making itineraries. So a few years ago, we they planned a whole trip for their family and our family to go out west for like over 2 weeks, going all over the east and
Oh, that's
and
cool.
saw Mount Everest there. Oh no, it wasn't Everest. It was the Grand Canyon. Actually,
Oh, gotcha. Yes. And did you like the Grand Canyon?
loved it. We saw other stuff like we went glamping. We saw the Hoover Dam.
Yes, I was at the Grand Canyon last summer.
Wow.
Yes, and saw the Hoover Dam and did camping and hiked, and it was just incredible to see it. Isn't it incredible?
Yes, very.
You have to see it with your own eyes if you
Yes,
can.
you can't just rely on Google or Google Earth.
Right, right. And if you can get out there, I hope other people, I hope your listeners, if they're looking for a place to go, that Grand Canyon's a great place.
Yes. So 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 I could talk about Down syndrome all day. I mean, what topic would you give in 20 minutes without any preparation?
Wow. Without any preparation, I could give a talk on I could give a talk on the Make-A-Wish Foundation because I used to do that to ask companies for money. I would tell them about Make-A-Wish. So I could do that and talk about the power of a wish and what a wish does for a child and their family during difficult times. I could probably talk about curating a TEDx talk.
Yeah.
How about that? I could give a 20-minute talk on how to curate a TEDx event.
Oh, yeah, that's a good topic.
That would be kind of funny inside of a TED event, but I could do that. And um, yeah, those are probably the first two that come to my mind.
That, definitely. So, I love to spend time reading like fandom on the internet. What is your biggest guilty pleasure?
Oh, biggest guilty pleasure. It's a good question. I mentioned peanut butter pretzels already. I'm really into these lately. Biggest guilty pleasure, it might be used bookstores.
Oh yeah.
I can spend hours in a used bookstore
Wow.
and completely lose my time or what's happening outside. I just really get lost in those old books, and I love to open a cover of an old book, and there's just always interesting things. I was in a used bookstore a few days ago and opened the cover, and there was a picture from 1947 of a little girl holding a Bible. And I thought, oh, there's no identification in the book or on the picture, but it's such a special little photo. Just starts getting me thinking about the owner of that book and who the little girl was. And yeah, I kind of get lost in my own imagination sometimes in a used bookstore. Guilty pleasure. I could spend hours there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good question. That's a good question.
Thanks. So, thank you, Stephanie, for taking the time to. Oh, is there anything else you'd like to leave with the audience before we leave?
Gosh, well, I'm just thanks for having me, Matthew. And I know that you've asked such great questions, and you're, a great conversationalist. I knew that before we started chatting. Um, I would just say, you've really got me thinking again about asking questions and listening. And I hope that there's just some little nugget of something in our conversation that sparked interest in your listeners and might encourage them to keep listening to your pod and ask questions about things they're interested in.
Um, thank you, Stephanie. Audience, please check out my website, MatthewSchwabSpeaks.com, and follow me on social media. My social media handles are Matthew Schwab Speaks, no caps, no spacing on Instagram, and on Facebook, Matthew Schwab Speaks, all caps and spaces in between the words. And stay tuned for the next episode of Matthew Schwab Listens, and stay tuned for the next one.